Hey guys, Shebit here again with another Tera video. This video is going to cover the combat within the game, and more importantly it's going to focus directly on the Sorcerer Class. The first thing I want to say about the combat in this game is I just love it. It's so much better than anything else out there. It's just completely different from any other MMO. It just requires so much more skill, and it's so much more flexible than anything else, and it's just the reason why I'm going to play this game at launch. So for those who don't know, the main thing that's different in Tera Online than other MMOs is the fact that you have to aim every, almost, skill and ability in the game. So for example, if I'm a warrior, I actually need to aim where I'm swinging my weapons. So if I start swinging the attack, and by the time the attack lands, the mob is there, it's going to get hit. However, if it moves out the way, it's not going to get hit. And the same thing goes for if there's two mobs in front of where I'm swinging, I'm going to hit both of those mobs. As a spellcaster, the same things apply, apart from some abilities will require you to lock onto the enemy. So basically the way that this works is that you have a reticle in the middle of your screen, much like you would have in like a FPS game like COD or Battlefield 3, and this is there at all times. So you basically use this to aim which way your character is facing. It just makes the combat so fun, and it just adds another level to it. You no longer just hit tab and hope you target something and just keep that target until that mob's dead. You've got to actually think about where you're aiming every spell and every attack. And if it is moving, you need to aim your spell slightly forward to make sure that when it gets there it's going to hit the mob. I mean, in the sneak peek we only managed to get to level cap, which was 22. So I can't wait to see how they take this into endgame dungeons and PvP. Anyways, moving on with the video, I'm going to basically show you all the abilities that I have managed to learn up to this point on the Sorcerer, and I'm going to show you 1, what they do, and 2, how the animation looks. And this is kind of going to be a bit of a 2-part video. I'll continue the video at top level when the game comes out and I manage to level up. So here's the first ability that you get as a Sorcerer. I believe you have it from the first level. It's basically your main attack that you use at the start of the game. It's called Fireball. And as the tooltip says, you shoot a fireball at one target within 18 meters, and it does less damage to far off targets. So it's obviously beneficial to be a bit closer to the target for more damage. Next up we have Ice Needle. This launches a shard of ice up to 18 meters in front of you that briefly slows the target's movement speed by 20%. This is just going to be very useful in PvP about slowing targets so they can't get close to you. Okay, so this ability reminds me very much of Disengage from a hunter, if you've ever played WoW, and lets you take quick steps backwards out of harm's way. As a caster, especially as a sorcerer, you don't want to be anywhere close really, if possible, to anything. You want to be at range, at safe distance. So this is just a very useful skill that I seem to use a lot. So this next spell, called Glacial Retreat, is kind of a mix and match of Backstep and Ice Needle. It does the same movement as Backstep, i.e. gets you out of the way, but it also slows the target. Instead of by 20% like Ice Needle though, it's 70%. Okay, so the next ability is called Magma Bomb. Basically it's kind of an AoE spell which you throw at a 10-yard range. So as the tooltip says, arc a fiery projectile 10 meters away where it explodes in a 3-meter radius. So this is very useful for AoE packs, and it's one of your 3 AoE abilities. Pain Blast. So this is another AoE spell. It basically puts down a circle 10 meters in front of your character, which I believe is 8 yards wide, and it puts a dot on anyone who is in that circle. And for those who don't know, a dot is damage over time. Flaming Barrage is pretty much the main ability that I seem to be using. However, it does cost quite a lot of mana. It has a small cooldown, which is only 3 seconds. So when you push this button, it will allow you to lock on to up to 4 targets within 18 meters. And then you push it again, and it basically splits damage to all these 4 targets. Okay, so this spell's a little bit different than the others. It's called Painful Trap. It puts a trap down on the floor which lasts 10 seconds, and does quite a lot of damage when someone treads on it. There are 2 abilities which you have which require you to charge up. So this is kind of weird. So when you hold the button down, the longer you charge for, the more damage you will do with this ability. So Arcane Pulse, charge up the pulse's attack power by holding down the skill button, then release the button to hit targets in a 21 meter line. So the other charge up ability is called Mana Siphon. By holding this attack down, you can charge it up to steal mana from the other players, and you're going to be using this a lot, especially if you're using Flaming Barrage on cooldown like I am. And the last ability that we have is called Mana Infusion. This is pretty much a Mage's Evocation in WoW, where you regain your mana every 2 seconds for 25 seconds. However, you do have to cast this, and it's a 4.5 second cast time. Okay, now that you know all the abilities, I would talk about a rotation, but as we were talking about earlier on Ventrilo, the game kind of doesn't feel like it has rotations because there's so much movement that you have to do, and there is definitely a priority system that you need to kind of stick to, but it's kind of hard to know that as well when there's no damage meters yet or whatever, and obviously we're only level 22, so we shall see, and maybe I'll put that in part 2. Anyways, for now, I've attached some footage of just some combat throughout the 2 days we managed to play this weekend. And obviously the closed beta starts next weekend, so there'll be a lot more footage with some dungeons, some PvP, and definitely some leveling content there as well. So yeah, enjoy the footage, and thanks for watching this video.